Commander Alan Wright of the Earth Defense Fleet looked out the window of the ship called Endeavour at the big alien ship. The alien ship belonged to the Galactic Council, a group of 7 alien races who ruled most of the known universe. Alan felt tired. He and the other humans had been talking with the aliens for 3 years now, and things were not going well. Captain Sophia Martinez walked up beside him. She held a tablet with a message on it. Her face looked upset. "Bad news?" Alan asked, though he already knew the answer. "They said no to our offer." "Again," Sophia said. She pushed her dark hair out of her eyes and sighed. "This is the 17th time they have said no, and now they want even more from us. They want to see all our military bases, and they want us to get rid of most of our ships." Alan shook his head. When aliens first came to Earth 3 years ago, everyone was excited. The Galactic Council had promised to share amazing technology with humans and said Earth could join their group as an equal. But as time went on, the humans learned that the Council was not honest. Every new race that joined the Council ended up working for the older races, giving them resources and workers but getting little in return. The Earth team had tried very hard to get a fair deal. They were led by Nathan Harris, the best diplomat Earth had. Nathan was smart and patient. For 3 years he had suggested different deals, trying to find one that would be good for both sides. But the aliens just kept asking for more and more. Admiral Laura Collins stood nearby, looking at star maps on a screen. She was the highest military officer on the mission. Laura had been quiet for most of the meeting, but now she spoke up. "They are not being honest with us," she said. Her voice was calm but firm. "They were never going to give us a fair deal. They are just keeping us busy while they move their battle fleets around our solar system." Alan nodded slowly. "I think you're right. We need to start Plan Omega." Nathan Harris closed his eyes for a moment. He had worked so hard to find a peaceful solution, but even he could see that the aliens would not be fair to Earth. "I will tell Earth that talks have failed," Nathan said. His voice was sad but determined. What the Galactic Council did not know was that humans had been getting ready for this day since the aliens first arrived. While the diplomats talked, Earth had been building secret weapons and ships. They called this secret plan Protocol Omega, and now it was time to use it. The next day, Nathan sat at the big round table in the meeting room. Aliens of different shapes and sizes sat across from him. Some had tentacles, others had scales or fur. They all looked down at humans. "Earth has considered your latest demands," Nathan said. His voice was polite but cold. "We find them unacceptable. We are ending all negotiations with the Galactic Council, effective immediately." The alien called Zilbrax, who had 6 arms and blue skin, made an angry clicking sound with his mouth parts. "This is foolish," Zilbrax said. "You humans have no choice but to accept our terms. Your technology is primitive. Your ships are few. If you do not join the Council on our terms, we will take what we want anyway." Nathan stood up. He was not a tall man, but somehow he seemed to tower over the aliens now. "We are leaving. Do not follow us. Do not enter Earth space again. This is your only warning." The alien leader, Mexos, laughed. He had green tentacles and 3 eyes. "Warning? You warn us? With what? Your tiny fleet? Your simple weapons? You should be begging for our mercy, not making threats." Nathan did not answer. He and the other humans walked out of the room. Back on the Endeavour, Alan watched as the diplomatic team boarded. "All personnel accounted for, sir," Sophia reported. "Good," Alan said. "Take us home." As the Endeavour pulled away from the Council mothership, the aliens sent one last message. It appeared on the main screen. Mexos's 3 eyes stared at them. "You have made a terrible mistake," Mexos said. "The Council has brought hundreds of species into our fold. Some came willingly. Others had to be shown their place. You will be the latter. We will arrive at your world in 6 of your months. Be ready to surrender or face extinction." Alan cut the connection. "Send a message to Earth. Tell them negotiations have failed and the Council has threatened invasion. It's time to activate Protocol Omega. For the next 6 months, The Council watched Earth carefully. Their spies reported strange things. Humans were taking apart their space stations. They were calling back their patrol ships. They seemed to be giving up. On the Council homeworld, the alien leaders met to discuss the situation. Humans are collapsing just as we predicted, Zilbrax reported. Their unity is breaking, their leaders are fighting each other. They know they cannot win against us. Mexos nodded his three-eyed head. Good. Prepare the invasion fleet. We will take their solar system and show these humans their proper place. Only one council member looked worried. His name was Elevar, and his people had been the newest council members before humans were contacted. Maybe we should be careful, Elevar said. Humans are different. They adapt quickly. They might surprise us. The other aliens laughed at him. What could they possibly do? Zilbrax asked. Their ships are like toys compared to ours. Their weapons are simple. They barely figured out faster than light travel 100 years ago. We have had it for thousands of years. Elevar was not convinced, but he was outvoted. The Council ordered their biggest fleet ever to invade Earth. 3,000 warships gathered, crewed by soldiers from all 7 Council races. It was the largest military force in 500 years. They were sure it would be an easy victory. What they did not know was that humans had a plan, and they had a secret. Far beyond Neptune, hiding in the darkness at the edge of the solar system, Admiral Laura Collins stood on the bridge of a ship called Defiance. This ship had never been shown to the aliens. Neither had the 500 other ships that floated in space around her. Are we ready? Laura asked. Commander Kyle Bennett looked up from his control station. Yes, Admiral. All ships report ready. The Zeus network is working perfectly. Our secret communications system is online. Laura nodded. And Project Prometheus? Dr. Eleanor Garcia says all systems are working, Admiral. The technology has been tested on all our ships. It works. While pretending to struggle with simple problems, humans had actually made a huge breakthrough in science and technology. Project Prometheus was a new kind of weapon, unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. It had been built in secret bases on Mars and Europa, Jupiter's moon. Begin Operation Thunderbolt, Laura ordered. Let's show the Council what happens when they push humans too far. The human fleet began to move. The Council would arrive soon. Expecting an easy fight, they would find something very different. The Galactic Council invasion fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system 6 months later. Their 3,000 warships came out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. The alien soldiers were ready for an easy victory. They had conquered many worlds before, and Earth would be no different. Fleet Commander Drazak stood on the bridge of the biggest ship. He was from the Kordaxian race, known for being fierce warriors. His skin was gray and had hard ridges. His yellow eyes narrowed as he looked at the screens showing Earth's solar system. Scan for human defenses, Drazak ordered. A junior officer worked at a control panel. Sir, we detect no large defense stations. Their home fleet is near their moon. It is very small, only about 50 ships. Drazak made a sound that was like a laugh for his species. Pathetic. They have gathered for one last fight. Move closer and tell them to surrender. But before they could send that message, alarms started to sound all over the ship. Sir, many ships are appearing around us, the officer shouted. They're everywhere. Human ships suddenly appeared surrounding the Council fleet. They had been hiding using technology the Council did not know humans had. But what happened next shocked the aliens even more. On the human ship Defiance, Dr. Eleanor Garcia stood ready at her control station. She was the lead scientist for Project Prometheus, the secret weapon humanity had developed. All ships report. Ready, Admiral, she told Laura Collins. Activate Prometheus protocol, Laura ordered. Eleanor pressed a series of controls. Prometheus active. All ships are reporting successful deployment. Every human ship turned on special devices that changed the way physics worked in small areas of space. The Prometheus technology could temporarily change the basic rules of how the universe operated in certain places. The Council ships suddenly found their shields failing. Their weapons stopped working. Even their targeting systems could not function properly. Commander Natalie Rodriguez led the first attack group of human ships. "Target their command ships and communication systems," she told her crew. "We want them to surrender. Try not to kill anyone if possible." The human ships fired special weapons that disabled the alien vessels without destroying them. Some human ships used tractor beams to keep the alien ships from escaping. On his command ship, Drazak could not believe what was happening. Nothing like this had ever happened to a council fleet before. "What is going on?" he shouted. "Why aren't our weapons working?" "We don't know, sir," an officer replied. "It's like the laws of physics have changed. Nothing works the way it should." Drazak's communication screen came on. Admiral Laura Collins appeared on it. "Council Fleet Commander," Laura said. "Your technology depends on the laws of physics staying the same. Our Prometheus devices can change those laws in small areas. Your shields, weapons, and engines all depend on principles we can now control. You have two choices: surrender or be destroyed." Drazak's yellow eyes widened. "This is impossible. No species has this kind of technology." "We do," Laura said simply. "Humans have always been good at doing the impossible. You have 10 minutes to decide." The alien commander looked around his bridge. None of his weapons worked. His engines were failing. His shields were gone. And all around his fleet, human ships waited, their weapons ready. Drazak made the only choice he could. "We surrender." Within hours, the news reached the Galactic Council's main world. The council members could not believe it. Their greatest fleet had been defeated without firing a shot. The humans had technology that should not exist. In the Grand Council chamber, High Counselor Mexos called an emergency meeting. All 7 main council members attended, along with their advisors. "How is this possible?" Mexos demanded. His green tentacles waved in agitation. "Humans are primitives. They only achieved faster-than-light travel a century ago." Zilbrax, who had always been the most dismissive of humans, could not answer. He simply clicked his mandibles nervously. Only Elivar, who had warned them to be careful, dared to speak. "I tried to tell you. Humans are different. They adapt faster than any species we have encountered. While we watched them and thought they were weak, they were studying us and finding our weaknesses." A message came in from Admiral Collins. Blalai. Human appeared on the large screen in the council chamber. "Greetings, counselors," Laura said. "Your invasion fleet is now under our control. We have not harmed your soldiers. We are not monsters, unlike some members of this council." Mexos bristled. "What do you want, human?" "We want to talk," Laura replied. "But this time we set the terms. A diplomatic vessel will arrive at your world in 3 days. Nathan Harris will lead our negotiation team. You will listen to what he has to say." "Or what?" Mexos challenged. Laura's face showed no emotion. "Or we will do to your homeworlds what we did to your fleet. The Prometheus technology works on planets too." The screen went dark. The council members looked at each other in shock and fear. 3 days later, Nathan Harris arrived at the council homeworld. His ship was escorted by 20 human vessels, all equipped with Prometheus devices. As he walked into the council chamber, he did not look like a defeated diplomat anymore. He walked with confidence, and the aliens who had once looked down on him now watched him with fear. "Counselors," Nathan began, "for 3 years we tried to negotiate in good faith. For 3 years you treated us like children. Those days are over. Now you will listen while I explain how things will be from now on." He activated a holographic display showing a new treaty. Earth will join the council, but as an equal member, not as servants. All species currently under unfair arrangements will be granted new status with better terms. Mexos's 3 eyes blinked rapidly. "You would change thousands of years of how the galaxy works?" "We would fix thousands of years of injustice," Nathan replied. "Earth will not be ruled by others, and we won't let others suffer the fate you planned for us." The council members talked among themselves in whispered tones. They thought their special communication devices were secure, but human scientists had broken their codes months ago. "They're going to try to delay and get reinforcements," whispered Dr. Garcia, who was part of the human team. She was listening, through a small device in her ear. Nathan nodded slightly, then faced the council again. I should mention that we have sent representatives to the Krell Hegemony and the Solarian Collective. Both have shown interest in working with humanity, instead of continuing their Cold War with the Council. The council chamber erupted in shocked exclamations. The Krell and Solarians were powerful groups that had stayed outside the Council's control for centuries. They had an uneasy peace with the Council, but that could change. You wouldn't bring them into this, Zilbrax said, his blue face turning pale. We already have, Nathan said calmly. The question is, will the Council be part of the new galactic order, or will it be left behind? 1 month after the failed invasion, things in the galaxy were changing fast. The Galactic Council had agreed to Nathan Harris's new terms, though not happily. News of what happened to their invasion fleet had spread to every corner of the galaxy. Species that had served the Council for centuries began to ask for better treatment. On the human ship Defiance, Admiral Laura Collins met with representatives from the Krell Hegemony and the Solarian Collective. These two powerful groups had stayed independent from the Council for a long time. Now they wanted to know more about these humans who had defeated the mighty Council fleet. The Krell ambassador was a large being with thick armor-like skin and 4 arms. His name was Gorax. The Solarian representative was Ilara, who looked almost human except for her silver skin and completely white eyes. We have watched your species for some time, Gorax said in a deep voice. But we did not expect you to defeat the Council so easily. Laura smiled. We prefer to exceed expectations. Ilara tilted her head. The Prometheus technology. How does it work? Dr. Eleanor Garcia, who was also in the meeting, answered carefully. It creates localized areas where the laws of physics can be temporarily altered. We can change how energy shields function or make weapons misfire. Impossible, Gorax rumbled. No one can change the basic laws of the universe. Humans specialize in doing the impossible, Laura said. We had to develop this technology quickly when we realized the Council's true intentions. Back on Earth, in the new United Earth government building, Nathan Harris met with world leaders to discuss the changing situation in the galaxy. The Council has accepted our terms for now, Nathan explained, but they will try to find ways around them. We need to be careful. President Jordan Reeves nodded. She was a tall woman with short gray hair who had led Earth through the first contact crisis. What about these other groups, the Krell and Solarians? They are interested in alliances, Nathan said. They have technology we don't, and they're impressed by Prometheus. Admiral Collins is meeting with them now. Can we trust them? Asked General Victor Ramirez, head of Earth's military. More than the Council, Nathan replied. They've never tried to conquer other species. They just wanted to be left alone. But now they see us as a potential ally against the Council's influence. Meanwhile, on the Council homeworld, the 7 main counselors were having a secret meeting. They were not happy with the new arrangement. We cannot allow these humans to dictate terms to us, Mexos said, his green tentacles twisting in anger. We have ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. But their Prometheus technology, began Zilbrax, is just one technology, Mexos interrupted. We have many technologies they don't know about. We must find a way to neutralize Prometheus. Elivar, who had warned them about underestimating humans, spoke up. I think we should accept the new reality. Humans are not trying to rule us. They just want fair treatment for all species. Spoken like a coward, Mexos snapped. Your species was the newest to join the Council before humans. Perhaps you sympathize with them too much. I just see the writing on the wall, Elivar said calmly. Change is coming whether we like it or not. The next day, on the human ship Defiance, alarm suddenly sounded. Commander Kyle Bennett rushed to the bridge. Admiral, we're detecting unusual energy readings from the Council diplomatic vessel. He reported to Laura Collins. Laura frowned. What kind of readings? Unknown, but they're powerful. Dr. Garcia is analyzing them now. Eleanor Garcia's voice came over the communication system. Admiral, they're trying to create a field that would neutralize the Prometheus effect. It won't work, but it shows they're already trying to counter our technology. Laura's face hardened. So much for peaceful cooperation. Alert all ships, and get me a secure line to Nathan Harris. On Earth, Nathan had just finished a meeting when he got the call from Laura. The Council is already trying to find ways to defeat Prometheus, Laura told him. They agreed to your terms, but they're not accepting them in their hearts. Nathan sighed. I'm not surprised. They've been in power too long to give it up easily. What do you suggest? We need to strengthen our alliances with the Krell and Solarians, Laura said. And we need to reach out to the subjugated species in the Council. Many of them would support us if they could. I'll speak to President Reeves, Nathan agreed. We may need to take more direct action. A week later, a special meeting was called. This time, it wasn't just the 7 main Council races who attended. Representatives from all 23 species in Council space were invited. It was the first time many of the servant races had been allowed in the Grand Council chamber. Nathan Harris stood before them all, with Laura Collins and Eleanor Garcia at his side. The Krell ambassador Gorax and the Solarian representative Ilara were also present, standing with the humans. We have discovered that certain members of the Council are already trying to undermine our agreement, Nathan announced. They agreed to treat all species fairly, but they are secretly working against those terms. Mexos stood up, his 3 eyes glaring. These are baseless accusations. Dr. Garcia activated a holographic display showing the energy readings from the Council ship. This is proof of your attempt to neutralize our Prometheus technology, an act that goes against the spirit of our agreement. Murmurs spread through the chamber, especially among the representatives of the servant species. Many of them had hoped that human intervention would improve their status. The old Council system is broken, Nathan continued. It was built on exploitation and fear. We propose a new system, a galactic assembly where all species have an equal voice. The servant species representatives looked at each other in amazement. What Nathan was suggesting would completely change how the galaxy was governed. This is outrageous, Mexos shouted. The Council has maintained peace for thousands of years. Peace for whom? Laura asked. For the 7 ruling species, perhaps. But what about everyone else? The species you use for labor and resources? Is that peace? One by one, representatives of the servant species began to stand. They had been quiet and obedient for centuries, but now they saw a chance for change. The Delvians support this proposal, said one. As do the Taurians, said another. The Viridian Collective agrees. More and more voiced their support. The main Council members watched in shock as their carefully built power structure began to crumble before their eyes. Mexos looked at Nathan with pure hatred. You have doomed the galaxy to chaos. Nathan shook his head. No. We've given it a chance for true peace. Not the peace of masters and servants, but the peace of equals. As the meeting ended, Eleanor Garcia turned to Laura. Do you think it will work? A galactic democracy? Laura watched as representatives of different species, some who had been enemies, for centuries began to talk to each other with new respect. It won't be easy, she said, but humans have never been afraid of a challenge. 3 months passed since the meeting where Nathan Harris proposed the Galactic Assembly. During that time, humans worked hard to build support for the new system. They visited many worlds, talked to many species, and shared their ideas about freedom and equality. But not everyone wanted change. The 7 main Council races had enjoyed power for too long to give it up easily. Mexos and the other Council leaders worked in secret, planning to stop the humans and keep their control over the galaxy. On the newly built space station Unity, which orbited Earth, representatives from 30 different species gathered for the first meeting of the Galactic Assembly. The station was big and beautiful with large windows that showed the blue planet below. The meeting room had seats for everyone, arranged in a circle so that no one seemed more important than others. Nathan Harris looked around the room with pride. Just 6 months ago, humans had been facing a threat from the Council. Now they were changing the galaxy for the better. We have come far in a short time, Nathan said to Admiral Laura Collins, who stood beside him. Laura nodded. But we need to be careful. Mexos and his allies won't give up so easily. That's why I asked you to bring extra security, Nathan replied. and why the Defiance and other ships are patrolling nearby. The meeting began with speeches from representatives of different species. Many of them had been treated poorly by the Council for centuries. Now they had a chance to speak freely for the first time. The Delvian representative, a slender being with blue skin, spoke with emotion. For 500 years my people have mined resources for the Council. We worked in dangerous conditions. We were not allowed to use the minerals ourselves. Today marks the end of that unfair system. Other representatives shared similar stories. The humans listened and learned more about the galaxy they had entered. Not all the Council races opposed the changes. Elivar, the Nesdarian who had warned the Council about underestimating humans, spoke in support of the new assembly. My people were the newest Council members before humans arrived, Elivar said. We saw the unfairness of the old system but were too afraid to speak out. Humans showed us that change is possible. They showed us courage. Mexos and 3 other Council representatives had refused to attend. They called the assembly illegal and said they would not recognize its decisions. As the meeting continued, Dr. Eleanor Garcia entered the room quickly and whispered to Laura Collins. Laura's face grew serious. She touched Nathan's arm. We need to talk. Now, she said quietly. They stepped out into a private room. Eleanor brought up a holographic display, showing several points of light moving through space. Our long-range sensors just detected these, Eleanor explained. Council warships, a lot of them moving toward Earth. They're trying to stay hidden, but we spotted them. How many? Nathan asked. About 2,000 ships, Laura said. Not as many as their first invasion fleet, but still very dangerous. They're making their move while we're all gathered here, Nathan realized. They think they can catch us unprepared. Laura smiled grimly. They're wrong again. We've been expecting something like this. The Defiance and 300 other ships are ready. Plus, our new allies have contributed vessels of their own. The Krell sent 50 warships, Eleanor added. And the Solarians provided advanced shield technology for our fleet. Nathan looked troubled. I wanted to avoid more fighting. The assembly is supposed to bring peace. Sometimes you have to fight for peace, Laura said. We'll try to minimize casualties just like last time. They returned to the assembly meeting and quietly informed key allies about the approaching threat. The representatives agreed to continue the meeting while the human fleet and their allies dealt with the Council ships. In deep space, the Council fleet moved toward Earth. They thought they were undetected. Their plan was to attack suddenly, destroy the human fleet and capture the assembly members. Then they would force everyone to accept Council rule again. Admiral Fleet Commander Drazak had been given a second chance after his defeat in the first invasion. He had promised Mexos that this time, he would not fail. We have developed countermeasures against the Prometheus technology, Drazak told his officers. Our scientists have been working day and night. We will not be caught off guard again. But, as his fleet approached Earth, they were surprised to find the human fleet waiting for them. Not just human ships, but vessels from the Krell and Solarians, too. On the bridge of the Defiance, Laura Collins stood calmly. Open a channel to the Council fleet. When Drazak's face appeared on the screen, he looked shocked to see her. How did you know we were coming? We've been watching you since you left Council space, Laura said. We gave you a chance for peace, Commander Drazak. Now you have chosen war again. We have developed defenses against your Prometheus technology, Drazak said confidently. Your trick won't work twice, Laura nodded. We expected that. That's why we developed something new. She turned to Eleanor Garcia. Doctor, activate Phoenix Protocol. Eleanor entered commands into her console. All across the human fleet, a new technology activated. It was different from Prometheus, but just as revolutionary. Instead of changing the laws of physics, Phoenix created energy fields that simply absorbed weapon fire. The Council fleet opened fire. Their weapons blazed across space and did nothing. The energy beams and missiles were swallowed by the Phoenix. Fields around the human ships, what is this? Drazak exclaimed. How is this possible? While you were developing countermeasures for Prometheus, we were creating Phoenix, Laura explained. Humans are good at innovation, Commander. It's what We do best. The human fleet and their allies moved forward. They didn't fire weapons, they didn't need to. The Phoenix fields extended outward, surrounding Council ships and neutralizing their weapons and engines. Last chance, Commander, Laura said. Surrender now. Drazak looked around his bridge. His weapons were useless. His engines were failing. Just like the first time, humans had defeated him without firing a shot. We surrender, he said bitterly. Back at the assembly meeting, Nathan received news of the victory. He announced it to the gathered representatives. The Council fleet has been defeated, he told them. No lives were lost on either side. The ships and crews will be returned to Council space, but they will no longer threaten us or any other peaceful species. The assembly members cheered. For many of them, this was the first time they had seen the Council's power truly broken. Nathan raised his hands for quiet. This is why we need the assembly. To prevent war, to find peaceful solutions, to ensure that all voices are heard, not just the powerful few. The assembly voted to officially replace the Council as the main governing body of the galaxy. The age of the Council was over. A new era had begun. 1 year had passed since the formation of the Galactic Assembly. The old Council still existed, but its power had greatly diminished. Most species had chosen to join the new assembly instead. Only 3 of the original 7 Council races remained, loyal to Mexos and the old ways. On the Unity Station, which had been expanded to accommodate more representatives, Nathan Harris looked out at Earth below. He felt proud of what humans had accomplished in such a short time, but he knew there was still much work to do. Laura Collins, now Grand Admiral of the Combined Fleet, joined him at the window. Thinking deep thoughts? She asked with a smile. Just reflecting on our journey, Nathan replied. A year ago we were facing invasion, now we're helping reshape the galaxy. Speaking of reshaping, Laura said, the engineering team has finished the plans for the new hub world. It will be the Assembly's permanent home. The hub world would be a massive space station built at a point equidistant from Earth, the Krell homeworld, and Solarian space. It would serve as the center of galactic governance and a symbol of cooperation between species. Have you shown the plans to President Reeves yet? Nathan asked. This morning. Laura nodded. She approved them. Construction will begin next month. On Earth, Dr. Eleanor Garcia led a team of scientists from 12 different species. They worked together in a large research center that had been built specifically for cross-species cooperation. The Prometheus and Phoenix technologies, once weapons of war, were now being adapted for peaceful purposes. The Viridian adaptation of Phoenix technology shows great promise for protecting colonies from solar radiation, Eleanor told her team. And the Krell have found a way to use Prometheus for mining without harming ecosystems. A young Nesdarian, scientist named Terran, who had become Eleanor's assistant, looked impressed. On my world, we were told that different species could not work together effectively. The Council said our differences were too great. The Council was wrong about many things, Eleanor said kindly. Differences can be strengths when we learn from each other. Meanwhile, in the far reaches of the galaxy, Mexos had not given up. He and his loyal followers had established a new base on a remote world. They called themselves the True Council and refused to recognize the Assembly. The humans have turned the galaxy upside down, Mexos raged to his followers. Centuries of proper order destroyed in less than 2 years. Zilbrax, who had once been dismissive of humans but now feared them, clicked his mandibles nervously. What can we do? They have both Prometheus and Phoenix technologies, and many species support them. We must find their weakness, Mexos insisted. All species have weaknesses. The Arctarian spy master Voltar stepped forward. I may have found something, High Counselor. Humans have great technology and military strength, but their real power comes from cooperation. They build alliances, share knowledge, treat others as equals. This is unusual in the galaxy. That's a weakness? Mexos asked skeptically. It could be, Voltar said. If we could create distrust between humans and their allies, their coalition might fracture. Mexos's 3 eyes blinked in thought. Begin the operation immediately. Use whatever resources we have left. Back on the Unity Station, the assembly was in session. Representatives from 42 species now attended regularly. They discussed trade agreements, scientific cooperation, and defense arrangements. The galaxy was becoming more connected and peaceful than it had been in thousands of years. But during a break in the proceedings, a Krell security officer approached Laura Collins with urgent news. "Admiral, our intelligence networks have detected unusual communications from former Council Space," the Krell reported. "It appears Mexos is trying to spread disinformation about humans." Laura frowned. "What kind of disinformation?" "Claims that humans plan to use Prometheus and Phoenix to control other species. That your peaceful intentions are a mask for domination. Some of our more suspicious leaders are beginning to listen." Laura immediately called a meeting with Nathan Harris, Gorax of the Krell, Ilara of the Solarians, and other key allies. They gathered in a secure room on the station. "Mexos is trying to turn our allies against us," Laura explained. "We need to counter this before it spreads." Gorax rumbled thoughtfully. "The old council always used division as a weapon. They kept species separated and distrustful of each other. This is just more of the same." Ilara's silver face showed concern. "But it could work if we don't respond properly. New alliances can be fragile." Nathan considered the problem. "We need to show that humans truly believe in cooperation and equality. Not just say it, but prove it." "How?" Laura asked. Nathan's eyes lit up with an idea. "The Hub World project. What if we made it more than just a meeting place? What if it became a true center for galactic cooperation? A place where all species could contribute and benefit equally?" The idea quickly took shape. The Hub World would now include the largest library in the galaxy, open universities where different species could learn from each other, and research centers where scientists could work together like Eleanor's team on Earth. Most importantly, humans would not control the Hub World. It would be governed by a rotating council with representatives from all member species. "We will share all our technology, including Prometheus and Phoenix," Nathan proposed. "No species will have sole control of any vital systems." When the assembly reconvened, Nathan presented the expanded Hub World proposal. As he spoke, representatives who had been worried by Mexos's rumors began to relax. This was not how conquerors behaved. This was true cooperation. The proposal passed with overwhelming support. Construction would begin immediately, with all member species contributing. When Mexos heard about the decision, he understood that his plan had failed. Humans had not responded with suspicion or attempts to tighten control. Instead, they had opened themselves even more. "They are either the most clever conquerors in galactic history," Mexos muttered, "or they truly believe in this dream of equality." 6 months later, construction of the Hub World had begun. Ships from dozens of worlds brought materials and workers to the building site. Humans worked alongside Krell, Solarians, and many former Council races. Even 2 of Mexos's former allies had abandoned the true Council and joined the assembly. On the partially completed Hub World, Nathan Harris stood with Laura Collins and Eleanor Garcia, watching the activity around them. Workers of different species collaborated, overcoming language barriers and biological differences to create something new. "Do you think it will last?" Eleanor asked quietly. "This peace, this cooperation?" Laura looked thoughtful. "There will always be challenges. Not everyone believes in working together, but we've made a good start." Nathan nodded. "When we ended negotiations with the Council, they thought they had won. They thought we would either surrender or be destroyed. They realized too late that humans had a different path in mind. Not just for ourselves," Eleanor added, "but for everyone who wants a better galaxy." As they spoke, a ship arrived carrying the newest assembly members, a species from a distant part of the galaxy who had heard about the new galactic order and wanted to join. They were the 5th new species to seek membership in the past month. The old council had ruled through fear and control for thousands of years. It had taken humans less than 2 years to show the galaxy a better way. Not through conquest, but through cooperation. Not through dominance, but through equality. As Nathan went to greet the new arrivals, he felt proud of what humanity had accomplished. They had not just saved themselves from the Council. They had helped create a new beginning for countless beings across the stars.